My name is Florence, and I'm here to hopefully inspire you all today. Thank you.
Thank you. How about you?
Hello, my name is Buchi, and thank you for having us. It's a privilege.
Thank you. So just go ahead to the discussion of today. So we'll be talking about appearance, Does appearance really, the way they dress and everything?
Yeah, I would definitely say it does. And just to give a little background of why I'm saying it does is because I've seen how the way a woman portrays herself can impact her in different ways, relationship-wise, how people address her, how people even just communicate with her. Appearance does matter. It's the first thing people see before they even hear you speak. So if you're dressed a certain way, it goes a long way. Nowadays, you see our women dressed in so many ways that you just wonder, what is in your mind? Showing of your breast area. You have women wearing excessively tight clothes, and even to church, you're just like, why? In the house of God, you're there distracting people, and you're wondering why certain men, for those women that are single, why certain men approach you a certain way. It's all about how you look. And I think that goes a long way. It does go a long way. If you want people to address you in a respectable manner, you dress in a respectable manner. I remember those, when I was in high school growing up, you would see some girls calling girls, hey shawty, or they even use weird, I don't want to say profanity. They'll call some girls the B word out of their name because of how they're dressed. But then you see some that dress very modest, very clean. People don't talk to them that way. So I feel like appearance matters. Even how you do your hair, how you do your makeup. There is something called too much makeup. Right. Yeah. There's something called showing too much. So yes, I don't know what you know.
I think when it comes to appearance, the exposure of too many, one can be insecurities. So when a woman is very insecure, she exposes to make certain men to come towards her. You definitely get that attention, but you get, to feel love, and you get that negative attention. So a lot of them are dealing with a lot of insecurities that have not been dealt with, especially even if you see it in the church. Just because we're in the church is a hospital, so we're all in a process to being perfected by God. But through that journey, some women have not gotten to the place where they have been completely healed from the insecurities of their past. So the only thing that you say, the way we act is a communication. We're communicating to people. So by exposing that there's something she's saying, but she might not be verbally saying it. She's saying it with her body language and the way she dresses. Even the makeup, the too much makeup is, they feel as if they are not beautiful enough. And the makeup is the thing that makes them beautiful. I used to be there, so I can tell where some of these things are coming from. Yeah, so the most important thing is, if you have those feelings of insecurities, you don't feel beautiful, the word of God, prayer, spending time with God, because you have that vacuum that needs to be filled. And the only person that can fill it is God. Yeah. So spending time with God and reading the word and believing the word that you're reading. Gradually, God takes away all those things. It's not going to happen overnight. Yeah. So it's a process, and it takes a lot of patience, because some of the women, they actually know that this is the problem for them, and they don't know how to deal with it, and they say, okay, I just want these things to go away. But it takes the presence of God to remove all those things that you've gone through and take away those feelings of, I don't feel enough, I don't feel that, and then put a fulfillment, a feeling of, I'm fulfilled, I'm complete. Yeah. Then you just gradually, you will not even know how your dressing is changing. You don't feel, when you wear things that are too tight, you are now uncomfortable because a new creation is now in you. So it just takes process and patience. And
I think it's like what you're saying, it's a low self-esteem thing. But one thing I that kind of baffles me is a lot of times you see women dressed this way, where they're exposing their body, and they're like, why is this guy lusting at me like this? And I know this is probably going to be a controversial topic, but I don't support rape in any way. But I do feel like there are things we can do. Yes, don't get me wrong, people out there are people out there. If somebody wants to rape you, they'll rape you, but I feel like there are things we can do to mitigate it. If you're dressed a certain way, especially on social media, you're showing your breast, don't be surprised when you see, don't be surprised when you see certain guys saying, oh, I want to just sleep with you. That's just the truth. So back to your question, does appearance matter? Yes. If you want to keep getting that kind of message, like people are saying, oh, they just want to just sleep with you, you're not going to get, especially for a relationship, you're not going to get into a real relationship with someone if you are giving up that appearance, because every man that's coming to you is coming to you for one reason usually.
So back to our discussion, because I saw some things on social media, the way some even guys too, the way they dress, then it just made me to start meditating. Okay, what is the purpose of dressing? Appearance. What's the purpose of dressing? Then I discovered that the main purpose of dressing is to cover nakedness. That's the main purpose. Because before the fall, that was Adam and Eve. Before the fall, the Bible said that they were covered in the glory of God. So the glory it's not just like a spiritual thing. Also, it was felt. So the glory covered them. That was what happened. Even after the fall, immediately after the fall, the first thing that Adam did was to go and cover, because he should. It was saying, people may say that it was just a spiritual thing. No, he saw himself naked, even spiritually and physically. The first thing was to take leaves to cover himself, and after that, God Himself. The Bible said God Himself, made clothing for them. I think the Bible said through with animal skin. God Himself. So, while I was meditating, I saw that the first purpose of clothing is to cover nakedness. Second is for protection, just to keep warm, protection from sunlight, rain, and lastly is for, I think is to keep, I said to keep warmth, and also to appear correctly, not just in a exposing way, but to. I know we're discussing about appearance, but people may think that it's just about exposing your area that shouldn't be exposed, but also you have to look good. Can we talk about it? It should not be as if I just let's just generalize everything. That it's not just you looking. Is there a way that you should dress? Aside from you exposing yourself as a woman, there should be a way that you can dress that will be not to be lustfully attracted to, but to be attractive in a good way.
Yes, there is. Covering yourself is very important, right? I believe in. You can wear dresses. I know there's some people that don't believe you can wear pants as a woman and things like that, but I think the most important thing is covering yourself, not wearing clothing that's too tight. Too much. Give yourself space to breathe. Don't suffocate yourself. And then you're trying to, move around. You're pulling, you're adjusting. Why do all that to yourself? Just wear clothing that's free enough, that's not too tight. Clothes that are fitted is also okay. Clothes that cover, if you're going to wear a shirt like what I'm wearing right now, make sure you put an inner wear, put something that'll cover your breast area. If you're blessed with a lot of, the backside, we give glory to God, wear jackets that cover it, so that way you're not selling off what you don't want to sell.
What do you think is the root cause of the inappropriate dressing?
I think the root cause is the lack of fatherhood in the household. Like we heard today that Pastor talked about divorce. People selfishly make those decisions because they're thinking about themselves or pride and many other things that they are not willing to sacrifice or let go of, and not thinking about the child. And when that happens, then you're having to share your children with one another, and then that leaves a vacuum where the father is not consistently in the home, and that affects both the boys and the girls, but it affects the women more, because women need a father. Like today is Mother's Day, and I'm celebrating all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day. But I'm a strong believer that a mother can never replace a father. Even if you have the mother working hard, doing everything that she has to do spiritually and everything, that's why God made the man the head. He's the covering. It's just not a title. He's thinking about the children. Women need the fathers in the home, and that's where it goes back to what we're talking about. You've seen all these expressions of behaviors and the dressing because they don't have a father. And if you really look closely, a girl who has a man in the home, even unbeliever, they had a father in the home, raised properly, you see that girl is different from a girl who doesn't have a father in the home. So I think just the absence of that father figure is causing a lot of damage that people don't know. And let's say, yes, people make mistakes, you're a single mother and everything. The most important thing to do is to pray and groom that girl to make sure that she makes God her father. And God fills that vacuum, because yes, everyone makes some mistakes and everything. I've made mistakes as well. But if you see yourself as a single mother and you know that you are now learning that the importance of fatherhood for your daughter. Make sure you groom her so well in the Lord that she becomes very close to God, that God fills that vacuum that has been created by the situations that the choices that you've made in the past, so that she doesn't now go through the path of feeling insecure. You know, that absence of father can also cause for insecurity. You're desiring men or a relationship, but not just because you want a relationship, but because you want the presence of that man there.
Can I also just say something quickly? I agree with you, but you know, having a father physically there is good, but it's not just being physically there. You need to be involved,
right?
Because there are homes where you have the father there, and they're not emotionally involved with their daughters. They're not reminding their daughters that they are precious, they are this, they are that, and they can still dress and appear that way. But one thing I want to also add is, even if you find yourself as a single mother in a home where your husband, things happen, your husband left, or you find yourself as a single mother for whatever reason, don't let that gap be so evident, because I've seen mothers, even in, not to always say church, but even in general, I've seen mothers where people are correcting their child, even their child's dressing, and the mothers are supporting their dressing. You will see teenagers tell you, or even adults say, my mother supports the way I dress, so who are you to say anything to me? So that's also another problem as well. In as much as the fathers are not there, which I agree that the father needs to be there, setting an example, being involved, but the mothers that are also there have a role to play, because by nature, girls tend to follow their mothers, and by nature, boys tend to follow their fathers. So if their mothers are dressing appropriately, if their mothers are also there guiding their daughters, the scripture says in the Bible, let the old women teach the young women. If they are there teaching them from an early age, I believe that can also make a difference. But we have mothers saying, this is America.
But you see,
wear anything you want to wear.
In those women that are saying that, they're also dressing that way.
They're dressing that way too, right? Exactly my point.
Yeah, they're dressing that way, and you will see that they also lack a father.
Exactly. So it's a generational, it's a stronghold. It's becoming a stronghold in the family.
So let me come from another direction, because I've seen where I believe the both parents, they are there and they are involved, but sometimes the dressing is still inappropriate. So what do you think that is?
I think especially, I can speak for the American society. Here in America, parents are just too busy for their children. That's another factor here. You see parents that they are so busy chasing money. Money is their God, sorry to say, that they're not at home with their kids. Some of them don't even know their kids are wearing these things. Some of them, they don't even care. They don't even have a mouth or the authority in their home anymore. They'll tell you, I remember there was a father that was saying that, I can't talk to my daughter. If I talk now, she'll tell me she's going to call child services. Because they'll say that, oh, you're abusing the child if you beat the child. Parents are even scared to beat their kids because at school they're being taught something else. But you know why? It's because you never had that authority in the first place. And then you allow the school system to raise your children. Now the school system speaks louder to your children than you do. If you, from a tender age, if you had that authority figure and you made it clear to your child that I am the parent, not that you are, it's not like you're abusing the child, but let them know I'm the parent and you're the child, and you listen to what I'm saying. If you did it from an early age, there's no way a school system will come and be telling you.
True. So because I don't want us to act as if or discuss as if we are being biased. So we've spoken about appearance in terms of women. How about in men? Because what do you have to say about?
Okay, I would say for the men, because what I noticed
because my dad was involved in my life, both of my parents, but I had dreads before.
You did?
Yes, I had dreads, and then I made my hair, then I still dyed my hair gold. I mean, so what do you think is the cause?
I think that now goes to parenting, right? So for example, you said
but I was scared though. But I was scared.
What do you mean you were scared?
I mean, what mommy say? What daddy say?
Then, but there's still that fear of your parents and
I was not staying with them.
I
left home. I left home when I was doing. Then back home, I left them. Then I was doing those stuff.
That's it.
But what happened? After I stopped doing those stuff. Then I was listening to Bishop David Eko. He said something that, because when you talk about dress now, people will be like, there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, there's nothing wrong with dread, but I've not seen like a president or all these people carrying dreads, having, piercing their ears or tattoo. I mean, we don't see it, but the way they dress, I mean, or even president of third world nations, fourth world, or any kind of world, you see them, the way they dress is the appearance is very clean, is very sharp, no dress and everything. So Bishop said something. He said, have you seen a president of any nation having dreads? Then he made a statement. He said, I can't imagine any of my sons having dreads.
Exactly.
that the head will go with the dread.
The head will go with the dread.
Yes. So what do you think is the cause? So
like you're saying, like your parents were present, right? Yeah. But you mentioned something very important, and I think we should also say that you had that fear, like, what will my parents think? Because let's not lie, teenage years are the very, very scary years, right? As much as you teach your child, they might still go and do their own thing. Yeah. But you see, you mentioned something, you still had that, your conscience was speaking to you. So as parents, I think this where now we drift towards parents, where do your best.
Yeah.
Pray for your children.
Yeah.
And eventually they will still come back to the right path.
I agree.
Because those teenage years, they are seeing a lot of things, because you can't lock them in the house forever. They are going to school, they are with peers and everything. But the most important thing is when you start teaching them from little. Yeah. Especially this appearance thing we're talking about. I see young, little girls, they were tight. But if it starts from little, you teach them those things, so that when they get older, it doesn't become now difficult for you to tell them about appearance, because you are grooming them to be a type of person. Yeah. Do you understand? So no matter what, even if they try certain things and everything like that, because of that truth that you've taught them over time, you see, we are coming to church every Sunday. It might look like, okay, the kids, they are going to children's church and everything. They are hearing the word. Yeah. It's building like a pool.